Gunners, welcome to UG Gunners TV. Robert Wills are my name. It's match preview. Champions League, Arsenal against Sevilla in Spain. Arsenal having lost a match against Lens in France, and this time it's again away against Sevilla. And really, in terms of achievements, we see that Sevilla has achieved a lot this season, and over in the 5 past seasons, because even last year we saw them managing to win a trophy that was Europa trophy, and the same time creating very hard time for Manchester City when they were playing in a Super Cup. So with me here, I'm again joined up with Big Steve. Big Steve, welcome to Fans Front.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So Arsenal away at Sevilla, it's not easy, an easy night, because in terms of everything, those guys, they have strong players. We see they have experienced players like Ramos, Jesus Navas, Rakitic, and others. So when you compare them to Arsenal's squad of young men, however much well talented, so how do you see Mikel Arteta going for that match?
It's a really big night for both clubs.
Okay.
Of course, both clubs have had a slow start into this Champions League campaign.
Yeah.
Arsenal, of course, lost their last match against Lens in France.
Yes.
Of course, it was a big blow.
True.
If you're a club like Arsenal and you're harboring intentions of topping a group,
yeah,
and going through that group, of course, as a favorite,
yes,
to qualify for the last 16, then you must take each and every game as it comes, and you must take each game as important as you would take any other game. So it was a disappointing night in France against Lens, but of course we come into the Sevilla game. Of course, Arsenal has to pull up their stocks if they are to go to Sevilla and pick a result. These are big boys in European football,
yeah,
with big experienced players in there. Of course, you mentioned of Jesus Navas. Yes. Of course, they have Fernando Regues, very experienced player in there. They have Ivan Rakitic,
yeah,
a lot of experience in that Sevilla team. Yeah. You have Acuna, yeah, very dangerous player, big player as well. So they have actually a squad of players who are featured in European nights than Arsenal,
yes,
in real sense.
Yes.
And of course, they have achieved a lot, of course, in Europa League.
Yeah.
But looking at them actually coming against Man City in that Super Cup,
and the way they displayed,
exactly, they had a very fantastic game against Man City.
Yeah.
For the entire 90 minutes, yes, they gave the Guardiola men really hard time.
But still Arsenal also managed to hammer Guardiola.
Absolutely. Yes. So we come actually into this game with both sides needing the result actually.
Yeah.
But what I think Mikel Arteta must go strong, yes, for this fixture. Because we really need the 3 points if we are to top that group. Remember, in Champions League always, you want to top the group, and perhaps maybe you get a favorable draw into the last 16.
Yes.
So I think Mikel Arteta must go strong, and I hope maybe since Thomas Partey didn't feature over the weekend, I hope maybe he starts in this game. Okay. Of course, depending on his fitness level. So we shall leave that for the coach. Okay. But I think Arsenal must go into this game with one mentality of just getting the 3 points.
So it's a must win.
Absolutely, it's a must win.
Yeah.
All the boys must be up for the fight.
No room of excuse, no room of a draw.
Exactly.
So in the same way now, looking at the entire setup or the entire match, the way it is, Arteta having reserved part, as you said, and do you expect some changes in our goalkeeping?
Of course, we got the news about Aaron Ramsdale.
Yes.
Congratulations to him. Of course, he had a baby.
Oh.
Yeah. His wife had a baby. So we don't know whether maybe he might have still some few extra days.
Celebrate.
Yeah. So we don't know what will happen there.
Yes.
But whoever starts maybe in goal, of course, Arsenal fans are rooting for Aaron Ramsdale.
Okay.
To maybe start one of these coming fixtures. So we wait and see maybe from his press conference today whether Aaron Ramsdale is now okay to come and play, or he's still having some few days off. But whoever starts in goal, I think the one thing is we need the 3 points, and I expect actually not many changes.
Okay.
I expect a strong starting 11.
Okay.
Because I think almost all players are fit.
You know, now you looking at Jesus Navas is a good winger, and looking at our defense, that is our left back, that is Zichenko. Between Zichenko and Tomiyasu,
Yeah.
who do you prefer to be there who can control those speed of those guys, our opponents?
Again, it's a tricky one, but of course we know Arsenal's first choice left back is of course Alexander Zichenko.
Yes.
So I don't think Mikel Arteta may tinker with that team so much. As I've said earlier, maybe I expect maybe a Thomas Partey coming in there.
Okay.
But I don't think he's going to tinker so much with that team that started against Chelsea over the weekend.
Okay.
So I still expect that back four of William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Alexander Zichenko and Ben White. So I still expect that back four to come in for this game. So maybe the one change that Arsenal fans are rooting for is the Thomas Partey, maybe coming in for Jorginho. But we don't know what Mikel Arteta will do.
Okay, basing on the last weekend match against Chelsea, we saw Zichenko having hard time. Actually, he was given hard time by Sterling. Eh?
Yes.
So don't you think that the same thing can happen? He can be given hard time by Navas?
Absolutely. The thing with you have Jesus Navas, actually he plays as a right back for Sevilla, but he likes making serious runs in that right wing.
Okay.
So in terms of pace, it may be a player that maybe has edged, but in terms of pace, he's still brilliant.
Yes.
Navas. So I think actually whoever is going to play in that left-hand side, either Martinelli starts or Trossard, I think that person must be able to help Alexander Zichenko down in that side. Okay. Otherwise, I think Zichenko will have a terrible night with Navas there. If and alongside maybe Eric Lamela also, so whoever starts down there, I think we may give Zichenko maybe a hard time. So I expect maybe the Martinelli to be helping him there, or one of the midfielders to be dashing in that left back to be helping him. Because Sevilla actually a dangerous team when it comes to transitions, breaking from the defense to midfield and joining that attack. They have pacey young players. It's a mixture of experience and young players.
On top of that, they also home ground fun.
Much as we would love maybe Tomiyasu to start because of his defensive prowess. But I expect Mikel Arteta will still start with Alexander Zichenko. Maybe because he edges Tomiyasu in the experience, of course, in European nights. So Zichenko has played in European nights before. The 4-5 years he spent in Man City, he has been featuring. So I don't expect Mikel Arteta to take him off the team. But I think whoever starts in the defensive midfield or in that left wing must be able to help him.
Okay, because I know now concerning as defenders like the likes of Salba and the Magalhaes, those are automatic. I believe they will feature in that match. But now going to the midfield, whereby we see those guys, they are midfield with the Rakitic and the colleague Fernando. Now compared to our midfield, that is our Declan Rice,
Martin
Odegaard, Partey. Who do you prefer to start there, Jorginho, out of those three?
As I've mentioned earlier, actually look,
because that's where the battle is going.
Yes, that's where the battle is going to be. And looking in that midfield of Sevilla, they actually have a wealth of experience. Wealth of experience. Ivan Rakitic, one of the best central midfielders actually I've watched in this era. He may be underrated, but I think he's one of the top central midfielders of this era. Then of course the experienced big man there, Fernando Regues, a very experienced player, played for Man City for quite some time, went to Sevilla, he has won some titles there. So it's going to be a midfield battle. For Arsenal, of course, we don't expect, we expect Rice and Odegaard to start. So the issue comes, who is going to join those two? Is it going to be a Jorginho? Is it going to be a Thomas Partey? And of course, definitely, as you've said, whoever wins the midfield battle might have an edge to that game. But we are hoping that Thomas Partey starts.
Gunners, just all we request you guys, our viewers, continue viewing, continue subscribing as well. Like the video, share the video, and join the conversation. And don't forget that we are going to this game as Sevilla on the weekend they had a draw against Madrid, and the same time Arsenal had a draw against Chelsea. So all these two teams are getting together, or they are going to this game with draws in their home leagues. So in the same way, looking at Arsenal front line, how do you see the front line? Do you expect some changes, or do you think Nketiah will future?
We saw Gabriel Jesus against Chelsea. I think his performance was a little bit below par.
Okay.
I think he didn't have a good game against Chelsea.
Okay.
Of course, he tried, he worked hard as usual.
Yes.
That is part of his game.
Yeah.
But was coming so deep into midfield.
Yeah.
So that's why we saw actually the front line was not sharp enough.
Yes.
Only Gabriel Martinelli was trying to pull up strings against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus might have not been bright for in that game against Chelsea.
Okay.
But still, we expect Mikel Arteta to not to change his front three.
Yes.
Maybe Trossard, of course, he might have a shout because again he came as a substitute and delivered.
Or he can remain as a substitute always.
Either way, Mikel Arteta does it.
Yes.
But I expect the front three of Gabriel Jesus,
Yes,
Bukayo Saka, and Gabriel Martinelli to start.
Oh.
And of course, I think those three will also give Sevilla's backline actually hard time.
Okay.
You look at their left back. If they are to start with Acuna, I think in terms of pace, I think Bukayo Saka may have a good night against him.
Okay.
Of course, he's a big lad. He can try to knock off Saka, but we know Bukayo Saka is also good in holding that ball.
Yeah.
So I think maybe our wingers may try and hurt Sevilla.
Okay.
In that match. Okay. So I expect Gabriel should start up front.
Okay.
Martinelli and Bukayo Saka.
Yes.
Maybe later on in the game, if you want to change something, maybe you can bring in the Kai Havertz and somewhere and a Trossard. Yes. If you want to change the system, of course, then we bring in those aerial balls for Kai Havertz to try and bully their back line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you said that about the front line, what's your expectation as a result? Because if at all Arteta does what you're expecting, or what's your lineup that you're expecting that?
I expect. I think David Raya will be in goal.
Okay.
Then of course Ben White, Zinchenko, Saliba, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Midfield is a little bit tricky.
Yes,
maybe you may prefer Jorginho still. Yeah. I don't know, but personally, I prefer Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard.
Yes.
Bukayo Saka up front alongside Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli.
Okay.
So that's the lineup we expect, and we expect these boys to return up for this game.
Okay.
Because Arsenal is in desperate need of the 3 points.
Yes.
In Champions League, first three games, you lose 2.
Yeah,
the pressure sets in.
Yeah,
then you have to win almost Then you have to win almost the remaining games. Okay. So the boys actually have to be up for the fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you have to place the money, where should we put the money? Should we put it on the X? That's a draw, or it will be a
I think the Arsenal may turn up for this game. I expect it's going to be a close contest actually between the two teams.
Okay.
But I expect Arsenal to pull up maybe a narrow victory.
Okay.
Maybe a 2-1 victory.
Okay.
Against Sevilla.
2-1 victory. Yeah. Likewise, if Arteta does the way he has really lined up, or he has mentioned the lineup, that is David Raya, Ben White, that is Salva, Magalhaes, and Zinchenko in the defense as well, choosing Partey over Jorginho, and then the rest of the boys, that is Odegaard and Declan Rice as well on the wingers, that is Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. We shall manage to come up with a good result of 1-0.
We can talk about that forward line of Sevilla. I think the Arsenal back line actually must be up for it. Okay. You look at the Moroccan striker there, El Nesri.
Yes.
He's a very dangerous lad actually when it comes to aerial balls.
Yeah.
I've watched him quite closely. Yeah. So I think Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba must actually have a close eye at him. It's
But
very dangerous, especially with those crosses coming in from maybe Jesus Navas down there, or maybe Suso, Lamela.
Yeah.
So, and Lucas Ocampos likes making those last runs into the box.
Yeah.
So I think the Arsenal defense actually must be very alert, otherwise they'll get hurt.
You know, okay, talking about Lamela. Lamela has been in a Premier League, and many times he has played Arsenal, and I believe he might be the guy to encourage his colleagues, like to push on or to give them determination that these guys, we are able, we can manage them. Don't you think that guy will be also somewhat over dangerous?
Absolutely, he's a big threat. If you remember the North London derby, I think some two years back, he managed to score one of the fantastic goals. I think it was some sort of a Rabona, that low Rabona against Arsenal. The goal got nominated actually in the Puskas Award.
Yes.
So he's a guy full of trickery.
Yeah.
So I think our backline actually have to watch him so closely.
Yes.
He can pull up some serious strings actually.
Okay.
On either sides, whether he starts from the left or right wing, or at times maybe he plays just behind the striker.
Okay.
So Arsenal's defense actually has to be alert to counter Eric Lamela.
Okay. Thank you, viewers, Gunners. This is UG Gunners TV. We all request you to subscribe, like the video, share the video, and always send your comments. It's always UG Ghana. Thank you so much.